We're going to unpack all of this now with Sina Azodi in Washington, D.C., where he's an adjunct professor of international affairs at the George Washington University. Sina, thank you so much for your time. Now, firstly, is this large U.S. military presence a deterrent or a provocation in particular areas?
Well, it depends who you're asking. From the United States perspective, it is a deterrent, especially to Iranians who do not wish to play with Washington's rules of the game. Washington thinks that Iran is, and I quote, a rogue state that challenges U.S.'s rules-based international order in the region. From the Washington's perspective, Iran pursues nuclear weapons, supports terrorism, all those sort of things that Iran shouldn't be doing, according to Washington. But from Tehran's perspective, if you're sitting in Tehran, you're seeing all these military deployments around you. You're going to see them as a potential source of threat. Iran knows that the United States is the world's best military force. It's the largest, most capable, and most effective fighting force. And so when you have 40,000 troops, aircraft carriers, warships around you, plus boots on the ground, then you're going to see this as a potential threat which could undermine Iran's security.
Sina, then the voters who see these troops and see the massive amounts of money that their government provides for these troops and the bases, these voters who want this money redirected to bolstering domestic problems like the economy, like healthcare, do they actually have a point then in wanting more money to be put into those issues rather than fighting wars overseas?
Well, there's obviously a large sector of American society, especially the younger generation, which thinks that we're spending too much on the military. We're sending too much money abroad, to Ukraine or other places in the world. And there's actually a demand, a domestic demand for spending, meaning that our infrastructure in the United States needs rejuvenation, needs investment. And they view all these, huge military expenditures to be kind of undermining their interest. This is especially true with the younger generation, which doesn't associate itself with the older, which is more in favor of United States being the policeman of the world.
If Donald Trump comes back into office, how's this going to affect the U.S.'s foreign policy and defense spending? Because when he was president, he was scathing about fellow NATO members, saying they're not contributing enough to the organization. And he still remains adamant that the endless wars need to, well, end.
Well, Donald Trump's foreign policy is based on one simple rule, transactions, that other nations have to pay for the United States to protect them. His strategic vision does not go beyond this fundamental concept. He doesn't believe in alliances. He is not an isolationist, in my view. He has isolationist tendencies, meaning that, as you pointed out, he thinks that perpetual wars are detrimental to the security of the United States. Alliances could drag the United States into unnecessary wars, for example, Ukraine. And that American allies should pay more for their own defense rather than the United States bearing the brunt of the expenditure. But I also think that, and we saw it during his tenure in the White House, that the United States military expenditure increased while he was in office. So in terms of a military expenditure, I don't think the United States will change its defense spending, but I think that the United States will be more demanding of its allies to spend more, or there's a very good chance that the United States under Trump would just withdraw from NATO because he doesn't believe in alliances.
Sina Azodi, really good to get your take and analysis live there from the U.S. Capitol. Thank you.